Am I the asshole? Relationship strain after home defense incident. I, 27 million, and my girlfriend, 26F, have been together for 2 years. I'm a black man raised in the inner city, and she's a white woman from the suburbs. We grew up in very different environments, which usually isn't an issue, but last week an attempted break-in at my house brought our differences into sharp focus and caused a significant rift between us. To give some context, I'm currently taking care of my mother. She's getting older and recently had major surgery on her legs. As a result, she physically cannot walk or support herself. This means I'm responsible for all her care, getting her meals, helping her to the bathroom, and ensuring her overall safety. Her bedroom is at the back of the house, close to the back door that leads out to the porch. At around 2 a.m. last Wednesday, my mom called me from her bedroom. She was terrified, saying that someone was trying to break into the house. She could hear loud banging on the back door, and being completely immobile, she was helpless. My heart sank when I heard her fear. I was in my bedroom with my girlfriend at the time. As soon as I got the call, I jumped out of bed, grabbed my gun, and sprinted to the back of the house. My girlfriend followed behind me, clearly alarmed. When I got to the back door, the banging was still happening. I shouted through the door, demanding that whoever it was leave immediately. Things went quiet for a moment, so I checked the security camera I have on the porch. What I saw chilled me. 3 people were standing there, and one of them said, "Keep going, it doesn't matter." At this point, I knew I had to act decisively. Using the speaker on the camera, I warned them that I was armed, the weapon was loaded, and if they kicked the door again, I would shoot. My girlfriend started pleading with me from behind, begging me not to shoot and saying it wasn't worth it. I'll admit her reaction threw me off, but I stayed focused on the immediate threat. The people on the porch didn't move. They were calling my bluff, so I put my phone down, cocked my weapon, and said I was going to count to 3. If they weren't gone by then, I would fire. I barely said 1 before they bolted off the porch and ran away. After they left, my girlfriend immediately started yelling at me, saying I should never threaten to shoot someone and that there's never a valid reason to use violence. I tried to explain to her that it wasn't about property or the house itself. It was about protecting my mother, who was lying defenseless in her bed just a few feet from that door. I couldn't know what those people were planning to do. They could have stolen things, hurt my mother, or worse. I couldn't take any chances with her safety. I told her we weren't having this argument right then because we needed to call the police. Yes, in hindsight, I should have called them earlier, but my immediate concern was ensuring my mother's safety. Once the police arrived, they found shoe prints on the fence and marks on the back door where the intruders had been kicking. They patrolled the area but didn't find anyone. After the police left, my girlfriend continued to berate me. She said I was wrong to even consider shooting someone, and that violence only makes you as bad as the person you're fighting against. I told her that's easy to say when you've never been in a situation where someone's safety, or even life, was on the line. I grew up in an environment where you had to be prepared to protect yourself and your loved ones because no one else would. She kept insisting that violence isn't the answer, and said that even if they had gotten inside, there's no guarantee they would have hurt anyone. That statement infuriated me because the risk wasn't one I was willing to take, not with my mother's life on the line. I told her I wasn't going to apologize for defending my home and my family, and I stood by my actions. Since then, she's been distant and barely speaks to me. I've been trying to understand her perspective. I know she's coming from a place of privilege where she's never had to consider the possibility of real danger in her day-to-day life. But I can't ignore the fact that she seems completely unwilling to understand where I'm coming from, the reality of being raised in a dangerous environment and the instinct to protect my family at all costs. To make matters worse, she brought the argument up again a few days later and doubled down on her stance. She told me I was overly aggressive and questioned what kind of example I would set if we ever had kids. She even suggested that I should consider getting rid of my gun altogether because she doesn't feel safe around it. That comment stung because the whole reason I own a firearm is to keep my family safe, and it's the very thing that prevented the situation from escalating that night. We've always known we came from different backgrounds, but this incident seems to have laid bare just how different our worldviews are. For me, protecting my loved ones is non-negotiable, especially when the danger is immediate and real. For her, it seems the idea of using force in any situation is something she fundamentally cannot accept. In the days since, I found myself reflecting deeply on our relationship. I've wondered if our different upbringings are a bridge we can build or a chasm we can't cross. I've thought about how my values, shaped by my lived experiences, seem irreconcilable with hers. For me, defending my home and family is instinctual and necessary. For her, it's a terrifying overreaction born out of fear and aggression. It's not that I don't respect her opinion. I understand her aversion to violence and her desire for peaceful resolutions. But what I can't wrap my head around is her complete dismissal of my reality. To her, my actions were extreme. To me, they were the bare minimum to ensure my mother's safety. And the fact that she doesn't seem willing to even entertain my perspective feels like a fundamental lack of understanding. I've also started to question what this means for our future. If we can't find common ground on something as essential as safety, how can we build a life together? What happens if we have kids and disagree on how to protect them? These questions have been weighing heavily on me, and I don't have the answers yet. At the same time, I can't ignore how much I love her. She's kind, intelligent, and has been a supportive partner in many ways. But this incident has shaken me. It's made me wonder if love is enough when two people see the world so differently. Can we compromise? Or are our differences too deeply rooted? I want to have a serious conversation with her about this, but I'm also afraid of what that might lead to. I don't want to lose her, but I also don't want to sacrifice my values or my ability to protect my family. It feels like an impossible situation, and I'm not sure what to do. So, am I the asshole for standing my ground, both literally and figuratively in this situation? Or is this just an irreconcilable difference between two people who grew up in very different worlds? For more interesting daily life stories, make sure to subscribe and comment your ideas. I will be posting more stories about a lot of aspects of life. Thanks for watching. See ya!